Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to the second session of questions and answers. I'm your host, Amjad Muhammad, and I'll be with you for another 20 minutes or so as we delve into more questions and more answers. We had a bunch of questions just before the break. They had come in through our social media platform on Markazul Ifta wal Qadha, and we dealt with lots of questions on there, 4 or 5 I think, on various topics, on the masjid and people having a cafe or something like that near the masjid. Similarly about education and training and various other things. There's one last question that's left on the gents group which we will tackle now, and also there's a number on the ladies group that I will deal with. But I'm also reminding people that if you do want your questions answered, then now is the time to call. Get it in early. As I said, the 20 minutes disappears like, I don't know, like something which disappears quickly, I guess. Like a pizza in somebody's house, like wind, I don't know. Something like that, something which goes quickly. Okay, so, now's the time. I was going to give you the number. The number to ring is 01274 214 299. That's 01274 214 299, and I just got cramp in my left foot. Okay, it's always weird when you get cramped. What was I going to say? The email is Q&A, that's QANDA at iqra.tv. Okay, so phone in, email in, get your questions in ASAP. Whilst we do that, we're going to pick up this last question from this group. So, Assalamu alaikum, Mufsar. My name is so and so. I don't really need to know his name. And I'm a Hanafi Sunni. Mufsab, I've been getting a lot of talaq waswasai. Whenever I get these waswasa, I started saying that I love my wife. One day I was about to say that. Suddenly, after saying I, the word divorce appeared in my mind. And suddenly I closed my mouth. The only sound that came out was the sound of when jaws or teeth compress against each other. And apparently it felt like that the word divorce had pronounced inside my mouth, and my tongue moves but no actually word pronouncing or sound of word came out with my mouth. Does it cause any effect? Astaghfirullah, I didn't have any near or intention or direction towards my wife. I love her so much, please explain me. Okay. So, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Firstly, one shouldn't listen to waswasa. Waswasa are from the shaitan, and the shaitan is only doing that to confuse us. In terms of how you have described it, you said that you thought about the word and you feel that your tongue may have moved to pronounce the word, but there was no sound which came out, as in the word was not really articulated. The tongue moved, but there was no actual word or sound. Therefore, it has no effect whatsoever. You shouldn't, this is just waswasat. If you're suffering from these sorts of things, then what you need to do is get some treatment for this, some therapy, because this is just another part of what we call OCD, over compulsive disorder, which means that a person is always thinking about something and it becomes compulsive, and then he can't manage these compulses. So there is therapy available in which you can try to deal with this. But in this particular instance, no talaq has not occurred. In terms of you saying that I didn't have any near, be warned or be wary, and I'm speaking to everybody, is that even if you do not have intention, but you mention talaq, then talaq occurs. So please keep that in mind. Why? Because the word talaq means only one thing, and that means that a man is saying that he wants to separate from his wife. It does not mean anything else. So there's no near required. Okay, whereas other words have other meanings. Okay, and they're used in different ways. So, if someone says to someone, I'm going to give you a good beating. Now, it may not mean that literally. It could mean that in a rhetorical sense or figuratively. That I'm going to really show you, I'm going to tell you off. So where there is that, and it's used like that in language, talaq is not used anywhere else. You don't use it in any other language. You don't use it in a figurative way. It's a specific word for a specific thing. I just want to add that so that at least you know for future. But in this case, no divorce has occurred, and one should refrain from having these kind of thoughts. So alhamdulillah, that's all the questions that are done on the gents group. We're going to pick some questions up on the ladies group. Assalamu alaikum, Mufsab. Can you please tell me if nodding off, so not sleeping fully as such, breaks my wudu? I fall asleep for a split second, literally for a second or two, and it happens without realization. Sometimes it happens a couple of times, and I will then get up and start doing something to avoid falling asleep again. Jazakallah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If a person literally, as you've described it, sister, nods off, where they're awake and then they just feel their head drop, and then just even literally once it's just the chin hasn't even reached the chest yet, or the head is moving, or the eyes just shut, and then the person realizes that they're nodding off, and they quickly get back up again and pull their head back up again, and then suddenly feel their head go back down again, thinking, okay, I better get busy now because I'm falling asleep. So they get up and walk around or drink a glass of water or something. Then no, this is not sleeping, and this is just nu'as, dozing off, becoming drowsy. And as the person is in fully control of their body, they're not falling asleep, as in they're not literally lying down on the sofa or the bed or whatever it is they're sat on, or reclining in the chair or whatever it might be that they sat on. Then this is not sleep. This is just literally falling asleep but not actually getting to sleep. So no, the wudu will still be valid. If, however, this person thinks it was for a second, because sometimes that happens where you think you've just nodded off for a second, and actually it's been a minute or 2 minutes, then one needs to be a little bit careful. So best thing to do is have some idea of time to know that it actually has been only a second or so. Because remember, we all know how it feels when it's late at night and you go to sleep and then you hear the alarm going off for Fajr. You literally feel that you've only slept for half an hour or an hour, but you've actually slept for 6-7 hours. So sleep does sometimes have that impact where the time is, we can't measure time as we usually can when we are awake, especially if we enjoy our sleep. Okay, last question that we have here. Assalamu alaikum. Are we allowed to keep plants and flowers in the bathroom? The idea is that they would soak in extra moisture, but what about the fact that they do dhikr too? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There is no harm in having plants and flowers in the bathroom. It is better not to. I appreciate people say that they soak extra moisture, but I don't think they take up that much moisture. It's better to have an electric fan or open the window. So I don't think really we should have them for that purpose, because it's normally there to make a place look better, more pleasant. But place where you're answering the call of nature should be somewhere where you don't spend too much time. You do what you need to do and you get out. So rather than having that, it's better not to do that. However, if a person did have that and they had the plant in there, then it would be fine. Don't forget, back in the day, we used to answer the call of nature out either behind a bush or, in some far out place, and there would always be plants around. So, and people may have, actually, urinated or defecated on plants without realizing it. So there's no harm in that. But purposefully putting something in there for the purpose of soaking up extra moisture, I've not really read up on it, but I cannot believe that they soak up that amount of moisture to actually mean that the bathroom does not get damp. It will still get damp. You're probably better off, like I said, putting in a fan or opening the window straight after, as we do. Okay, so that's all our questions dealt with, both on the ladies group, just let me double check, and also on the gents group. Alhamdulillah, that's all done and dusted. And with time to spare, we've got 10 minutes to go yet. So let me remind you again of the number 01274 214 299. That's 01274 214 299. Email q&a@iqra.tv. Whilst we're waiting for the calls to come in, we've got several minutes, so I just want to touch upon a few points. Some of you may know now that I'm working on a project at the moment, which is called Faith Finance, and also the broader concept of finance within the Islamic world and within the Islamic Sharia. And hopefully not this Friday, not next Friday, but the Friday after, which is the 4th of March, if I'm not mistaken. It's now penciled in, so pencil it in into your diaries. We're hopefully going to have a show from sort of just 7:30 up till just up to about 9. So it's a longer show, and that will be specifically on this topic. And we are looking to hopefully make our promotional videos here in the ICRA studios next week, possibly Wednesday. We're currently in the process of putting a script together and working with our producer, hiding behind the curtain, to have that ready. And then obviously I'll be coming in for some extra filming next week sometime to then incorporate within the promotional video. And hopefully by not this weekend, but next weekend, hopefully it should be on your screens so that you can see the promotion for the 4th of March, inshallah, where we hope to have this. I don't have any more details. It's at the moment as cloak and dagger as that, just a little bit of suspense, a little bit of excitement. So something quite different coming to your screens, inshallah, on that date. So please, as I said, pencil it into your diaries on the 4th of March, inshallah. And then I'm hoping to be down in London on the 5th and the 6th of March. So on the 5th of March, I'm hoping to carry out an interview on the same project that I'm involved with Islam 21C. And on the Sunday, and we're also trying to get an appointment with Islam Channel whilst I'm in London anyway. And on Sunday, inshallah, we've got a moon sighting conference with Wifaq al-Ulama in Leytonstone, I think it is. That's London, isn't it? Who cares, you know? So people say to me, oh, Walthamstow, East London. I say, look, it's London, man. You know, I don't care about specifics. They say, no, London's not like Bradford where it's BD1, BD2, BD3, BD7, BD8. London, you know, like Leytonstone and Walthamstow, it takes you like a day and a half. You've got to get all your camping gear, enough water for the journey, because even going from one side of the road to the other side of the road takes like half a day. Okay, I slightly exaggerate, but you know what I mean. The traffic over there is horrendous. And, you know, just moving from one place to another, it takes so much time, and then trying to find a parking space is so annoying. You can see I really enjoy my trips to London. Not really, not at all. So anyway, that's the plan for coming up that weekend for 5th and 6th of March, inshallah. So if you are around in London, obviously I'll tell you nearer the time, then please pop by. It'd be nice to see some faces face to face. I'll give you the masjid details of where the actual event is taking place. I think, as I understand it, there's going to be a public one, which is open to the public, surprisingly. That's why it's called a public one. And there's also going to be a private one, which is going to be obviously private. And that's going to be for scholars and masjid committees only. So please do jot those dates down in your diary. But I'm looking forward to this promotional video because the colleague that I've spoken to is really into this marketing. So he's using a lot of marketing jargon and all the rest of it. So that looks good. And we're hoping that that particular program that airs is viewed by a lot. So we do want, you know, share it with your friends and family so that we do get lots of people watching it. As I've said, the people I'm talking to, there's expectation. It's going to be a big thing. It's going to be something novel, going to be something new. So please do tune into that, inshallah, so that we can get a better idea of what's there. Anyway, enough time of me speaking about what's going to happen. Just to remind folk again, now is the time. I'm hearing lots of beeps coming in. I'm assuming that this is, what was this? Okay, so we've got, you know, a few minutes left now before the schedule finishes, but you know, we've got all the questions that we've dealt with, alhamdulillah, and those responses that we've given. So that's good. That's all in and dusted. And just again, we mentioned Ramadan to you earlier about the moon sighting. You know, why wait till, you know, the day before Ramadan and suddenly want to educate yourself on the moon sighting? You know, we've already started Rajab. There's only Sha'ban to start now, and then it's Ramadan. So why not now take that opportunity to start to study a little bit about the topic? I've got lots of literature and videos on the topic. So if you just Google my name and moon sighting, I'm sure you'll find lots of material. You'll find lots of material of mine and other colleagues of mine on wifaqululama.co.uk. You'll find lots of material. In fact, on IQRA TV's YouTube channel, you should find material because we did a moon sighting conference here at London Bradford Studios, I think last year, wasn't it? My God, look how time flies. Yeah, I think that was last year we did it. Hopefully the producer will whisper in my ear and say, yes, you're right. He says, so it might have been 2 years ago then. My God, if it's 2 years ago, then this is getting worse because it literally felt like a month, 2 months ago, and he's saying it's 2 years ago. Look how time flies, because it was COVID last year, wasn't it? Were we locked down? Probably, yeah. Yes, it was because I didn't go down for itikaf. No, I did go for itikaf last year. Or was it 2 years ago I went for itikaf? No, it was last year I went for itikaf. It was last year. It was 2 years ago that we were locked down. Didn't we come out of lockdown in 2021? Yeah, because it's COVID-19. That's right. That's the clue is in the name. So COVID-19 started around November, December. It was in the UK around March 2020. And then March 2020 was lockdown. That's right. And then we came out of lockdown in the summer. And then we went back into lockdown in December, November time or something like that. So we came out for a month or two. And then we came back out of lockdown around sort of Feb time or something, 2021. So yeah, so it was last year. I was right. I knew that, producer. 1-0 presenter against producer. I'm sure it's about 10-0 to the presenters, but who's counting? But anyway, so yeah, so that conference, so, equip yourself about that, get educated, understand it better, so that at least, you don't, there's no surprises, and you're educated in that. So when it comes to Ramadan, you know what's going on, and you're making an evidence-based decision, an educated decision, and not just a kind of I don't know, is it not, must be, kind of, isn't it, I just saw it on the TV, it's got to be, surely is, We don't do things like that. We don't just make decisions based on what we see on the TV. If we start going by that, we'd believe anything and everything. And just because there's prayer going on in Saudi, how is that directly linked to your Ramadan? If you see Asr being prayed in the Haram, are you going to pray Asr? Of course you're not, because Asr time for them is different time for us. I think they're 4 or 5 hours ahead of us or something like that, or 4 hours ahead of us. So does that mean when they pray Asr, we pray Asr? No, we don't, because we know it's not our Asr time. So if theirs is Ramadan, how do you know yours is Ramadan? Don't forget there's thousands of miles difference between England and Saudi Arabia. So just because they're seeing the moon, or they're stating that they're seeing the moon over Saudi Arabia, then why are you suggesting the same? And when there's countries close by to Saudi, like Pakistan, and Pakistan are then doing it a day or 2 days after Saudi, and they're literally, several hundred miles distance, if that, and we're thousands of miles away, and we're doing it on the same day. So, it just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So, educate yourself. I'm not telling you what to do, I'm letting you make that decision. All I'm saying to you is educate yourself on that topic, understand the topic. And as I said, you can look at the material I have, you can look at it with a critical eye, all my research that I've done, you don't have to accept what I'm saying, but at least if you disagree with it, then at least have a critical, a critique of it, have a good reason why you disagree. Don't just disagree because, I just don't like that, because that just doesn't make sense. Anyway, on that note of not making sense, time to go to suck this little bit of coffee and disappear into the wind until we meet again tomorrow, inshallah. And as I've been told, there is no Iqra TV question and answer on Friday, but I'm sure there'll be a rerun of me, younger version possibly, on Friday. But we will be back tomorrow anyway, so rest assured, be confident. And maybe it's Thursday going to be like last Thursday, where we had call after call after call. We can only live and hope. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.